Before I get into my remarks, I would like to acknowledge the young people from Fremont High, from Oakland, California. You all are amazing, and you are here. I want to just say that Ella Baker, one of the mothers of the civil rights movement, said, young people come first. They have the courage where we fail. Today, you get to look in the faces of folks who have made clear decisions to gut support services for you to live your dreams, specifically to the HBCU ecosystem. I want you to know that my daughter graduated from Howard University School of Law and is a prosecutor serving the government. I want everything and all things for you. The HBCUs are not just universities, they are sacred ground where blood was spilled so folks who look like you could have a chance in this country. Today, as I offer this amendment, I offer it with love to you. As folks try to gut Social Security and Medicaid and Medicare, I know what you are worthy of. A government that loves you and supports every single ounce of you and your grandmother and your father and the children that you will have. So today I am offering a common sense amendment, a simple guarantee to protect Americans' access to critical health care, food assistance, Social Security benefits, and any future plan, listen to me, any future plan to reduce or eliminate federal departments in this administration. Simply put, this amendment would prohibit this administration from reducing any existing benefit provided or administered by the Social Security Administration, the Center for Medicaid and Medicare, the Food and Nutrition Service at the Department of Agriculture, the Affordable Care Act. Mr. Chair, I have mentioned in this committee time after time in my few short months here that I am a widow, and I've waited at the Social Security office for hours to receive a very small survivor benefit for my daughter and I after my husband tragically died of a very, very rare cancer. I have been that single mother in college who received a small bit, it was actually $27 a month of SNAP, and I had to put food back routinely at the counter because I didn't have enough. Even with that support, no one, I don't care how you vote, where you live, deserves to be left behind because this administration is hell-bent on destroying our federal government and gutting the core social safety net that we collectively have built to support the fatherless, the widow, and the sick, and the elderly. Any reduction in benefits or services provided by SSA, by SNAP, by CMS, or the ACA could be the very difference of life or death. Folks living on the streets, or for so many vulnerable populations in this great country. According to the California Department on Public Health, there are over 260,000 hardworking constituents, both young and elderly, working and middle class and low income in my district who are eligible for Medi-Cal. This includes 13,000 children, some in this room. Look at their faces. They benefit from the basic social safety nets that we have promised them to eat, to be well, to study hard. Over 46,000 seniors and people with disabilities and over 3,000 adults who are eligible for ACA. I am just asking for a simple acknowledgement that we will not touch these services for the folks who need them most. At UCSF Benioff Hospital, last week I toured, over 70% of the people that this children's hospital in my district serves rely on Medicaid for the state-of-the-art care that they deserve, including children with cancer and congenital heart defects. No one should have to worry that the Trump administration is going to end their health care. No one should have to worry that this administration is going to gut their retirement. No young person in this room and in this nation should have to worry that an administration would touch their rights and their ability to go on to secondary educations. And in closing, I am voting voting and asking you all to vote for this amendment, it's easy. It's an easy way to demonstrate to my constituents, these young people, their parents, their neighbors, that we need and trust that they will grow to be strong human beings that will benefit this country. And with that, I urge my colleagues to vote yes on this amendment, and I yield back. Thank you, Fremont High, for coming today.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. I want to welcome the new member and delighted that she is here to offer amendments and to have her voice be heard. But I would offer to remind her that this country, as testimony before this committee and subcommittees, we have a $300 to $500 billion a year misdirected payments that have contributed over the last few years to $1.5 trillion worth of misdirected payments. I think it would be fair for her to articulate what she would like to, but I would say to her that an audit is going to take place. That audit is necessary. And some of the things the gentlewoman spoke about are not to destroy, but to enhance those very systems that we and she have spoken about. ACA, Social Security, and a lot of these other government programs that are important, the integrity of them. As a matter of fact, I'm sure the gentlewoman said, don't touch anything. Well, if you touch nothing, that means you fail to do an audit. That means you fail to take people out who have created either an inducement for them that was unlawful or something that might have happened along the way with fraud, waste, fraud, and abuse. But I would tell the gentlewoman that evidently she understands how Social Security works. I really don't. But one thing I do know is that if you turn 65 or Medicare eligible and you have an 18-year-old or less than 18-year-old in your household, that person qualifies for Social Security, up to $1,500 a month, and there is no dollar limit about that. A family could make $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 to provide money to that person that is underage. Mr. Chairman, we are going to do these audits. They are going to be done intended for the integrity of the programs, and I do not believe that I've seen evidence that it's going to diminish or stop these necessary important items for people who need it the most. Mr. Chairman, I yield back my time.
Very good. Gentleman yields back. Any other? Mr. Superman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to explain the reality on the ground. Right now, what they're trying to do is cut Social Security, but in a sneaky way. What they're trying to do is say, you have to show up to the office in person if there's any problems. But then they're firing half the people at these offices and closing down offices. And then on Friday, I get notice from many constituents that they had appointments already scheduled to do the right thing, and those appointments have been canceled because there's not enough people. So that's cutting Social Security. That's the reality on the ground, and that's not, that's taking a sledgehammer to our benefits. And Social Security is an earned benefit. People paid into it for years, and now it's being taken away from them, and they deserve better. Our seniors deserve better. Our veterans deserve better. The American people deserve better than what they're getting right now. And so these amendments are simply to protect the American people and their benefits that they rightly earned. And so the reality on the ground is much different than what I've been hearing from the other side. I have a constituent who works at one of the offices, the Social Security offices, who told me that appointments that were made have been canceled because half the workers in her office were fired, including people who actually knew how to make the system better and more efficient. And because of that, our office simply cannot help people right now with their Social Security benefits. That's just Social Security. I mean, this amendment talks about other programs as well, SNAP.
Would the gentleman yield?
Yes, I'll yield.
Were the workers instructed to diminish or change the benefits as a result of what you've heard today?
the workers were not instructed that specifically, but they cannot help the people that they serve with their benefits and with issues with their benefits if there's simply not enough people in the office to help all the people.
But
who are
they have
getting-
not cut. There's been no cut or change in the
Would the gentleman
benefits
yield?
necessary. It's a question.
I'll yield.
Thank you, sir. When you close down, for instance, there will be 6, I'm talking about SBA for a second too, 6 SBAs, and folks have to go in person to acquire their resources for their small business. When you cut thousands of VA staff members who pick up the phone and route folks to emergency services, when you close and fire Social Security workers. See, if you have never had to go into one of these offices and bow your head and beg for a few dollars to put food on the table while you go to college and while you carry your baby on public transportation, don't talk to me about what it means to be poor and try to just survive in this country. Poor people continuously are being punched down by this administration, and folks just want the same things: to send their babies to college, to get the health care when they need it. These folks, the ones that I represent, aren't getting rich off a $650 Social Security check when they have to pay $1,800 for rent. We're talking about sustaining basic benefits. And until you walk with these people hand in hand and see their hard work, their fury to survive, how could you say no to an amendment that says just keep in place the small amount of resources that poor and the sick are trying to sustain while they pass through these very difficult times in their lives? We cannot be the cruel governments that we pay shade to. I yield back.
I'll put a finer point to answer your question. If what you're saying is they're not cutting benefits, then why not support this amendment that says not to cut benefits, right? Put your vote where your mouth is if you really want to make sure that we don't cut benefits.